Hey everyone, welcome back to Higher Calling. We're rolling into day 11 of our 30 days of faith, and I'm so pumped you're here with me. Today's all about loving others midday. Alright, let's paint a picture. It's Wednesday, 1 p.m., and the day's already a whirlwind. Your inbox is overflowing with emails marked urgent, like, how can everything be urgent? The phone's buzzing with a call you don't want to take. And your kids texting you from school about a forgotten lunchbox. Or maybe you're stuck in a Zoom meeting that's dragging on, with that one coworker who won't stop talking about their cat's diet. And you're just trying to nod without losing your mind. Ever hit that midday wall where everyone around you needs something? Your boss, your spouse, the neighbor banging on about the trash cans, and you're thinking, can I get 5 minutes to breathe? I've been there. Sandwich half eaten, coffee gone cold, wondering if I'm the only one drowning in the middle of the day. Life gets loudest when the clock strikes noon, right? I'll be real, those moments test you. Last week, I'm at the grocery store around lunchtime. Cart half full, when the cashier's scanner jams. The line's growing, and the guy behind me starts grumbling like I'm personally holding up his day. I'm hungry, my kid's tugging at my sleeve asking for candy. And I'm this close to snapping. Buddy, I don't control the machines. Ever feel that midday fuse getting short? Where the world's moving fast, and you're just trying not to trip over it? That's when faith steps in with a curveball you don't see coming. In John chapter 13 verse 34, Jesus drops this, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." Wait, what? Love others right there, in the checkout line, with a cranky stranger and a sugar-crazed kid? That's not a Sunday school platitude. It's a lifeline for when your day's hitting peak chaos. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Love others midday? I can barely love myself when the Wi-Fi's out. Trust me, I get it. I've had days where I'm juggling work calls, dodging dirty dishes, and muttering under my breath when the doorbell rings with another delivery guy who's lost. But here's the kicker. Faith isn't just about you surviving the storm. It's about how you treat the people caught in it with you. Over the next 100 minutes, we're diving deep into what it means to love others when the day's in full swing, when patience is thin, time's short, and everyone's on your last nerve. I'll take you back to a Wednesday where I almost lost it. Work was a circus. My kid was a tornado. And I was one burnt sandwich away from hiding in the garage. But something shifted when I leaned into this command. Love turned the mess around. Ever had a day where you wanted to snap, but something held you back? That's what we're unpacking. We'll break down what the Bible says. John chapter 13 verse 34 isn't just a nice idea. It's Jesus showing us how to live this faith out loud. Right in the grind, we'll toss in some real, no-nonsense steps to make it happen, like, how do you love the coworker who stole your lunch from the fridge? Or the driver who cut you off at the light? And we'll see why this matters, not just for them, but for you, when the day's at its messiest. So grab your coffee, or tea, or whatever's keeping you sane today, get comfy, and let's roll. This isn't about being a saint by sunrise. It's about loving others when the clock hits noon and life's throwing punches. Quick question before we dive in. When's the last time your midday went sideways? And someone, or something, made you pause? Think about it. Jot it down. We'll circle back to that later. Day 11's about to get real. Let's do this together. Alright, Higher Calling fam. Welcome to the heart of day 11, loving others midday. We've set the stage with those crazy midday moments, Zoom calls dragging, kids bickering, that guy in line grumbling like you're the reason his day's a mess. Now, let's dig into what it really means to love others right there. In the thick of it, when the clock's ticking past noon and life's running at full tilt. This isn't about Sunday smiles or holiday hugs, those are easy. This is about loving people when your coffee's cold, your inbox is screaming, and patience is hanging by a thread. Ever wonder how faith fits into that chaos? That's where we're going today, because loving others midday isn't just a nice idea, it's how you live this faith out loud. Right where the rubber meets the road. John chapter 13 verse 34 is our anchor. Jesus says, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." Let's unpack what that looks like when the day's in full swing. So, what's midday, anyway? It's that stretch from late morning to afternoon, say, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., when the world's humming and you're juggling a dozen things. For me, It's when I'm racing between work emails, grabbing a sandwich, and dodging a call from my mom about, when are you visiting? Maybe for you, it's the lunch rush at your job, kids clamoring for snacks, or that coworker who picks noon to dump their drama. Ever notice how that's when stress peaks? You're not fresh like at sunrise, not winding down like at dusk, middays when you're stretched thin. And everyone around you feels it too. I've had days where I'm in the grocery store at 1 p.m., cart half full. And the line's stalled, kid tugging my sleeve, phone buzzing with a work text. And I'm thinking, can this just move? That's midday, raw, loud, and in your face. Ever feel that crunch? Where the day's half gone, and you're half done? Here's where faith flips the script. Loving others midday isn't about waiting for calm. It's about choosing love right there, in the mess. John chapter 13 verse 34 isn't a suggestion. It's Jesus laying down a command. Love one another. But not just any love, as I have loved you. That's huge. Think about how Jesus loved washing feet, feeding crowds, forgiving the guys who nailed him to a cross. Ever try loving like that when your boss is barking orders or your neighbors yelling about your dog? It's not natural. I've snapped at cashiers, rolled my eyes at slow drivers, and grumbled when my kid interrupts my lunch. Sound familiar? We're wired to protect our space midday. I've got enough on my plate. But Jesus says, nope, love them anyway. That's radical. It's faith with skin on. Right in the grind. Let's break this verse down. A new command. Why new? Old Testament had, love your neighbor, sure. But Jesus ups the game. He's not saying love when it's convenient. He's saying love like he does. All in, no conditions. Picture him at that Last Supper, hours from betrayal, washing dusty feet like it's no big deal. That's midday love, dirty, real, unglamorous. As I have loved you, it's not a feeling, it's an action. Ever think about that? How love's less about warm fuzzies and more about doing the hard thing. I've had middays where I'm at the gas station, pumps slow, and the guy next to me's cussing up a storm. I want to glare. But Jesus says, love him. Maybe it's just a nod. A rough day. Huh? Small, but it's faith moving. Ever try that? Just a tiny step when you'd rather snap? Why midday? Because that's when faith gets tested. Morning's hopeful, coffee's fresh. You're ready. Evening's quiet, you're winding down. But midday? That's the furnace, tempers flare. Time's tight, and everyone's cranky. Last Wednesday, I'm in a meeting, boss piling on tasks, coworker hogging the mic, and my stomach's growling like a bear. I'm this close to muttering, can you just shut up? Ever been there? Where midday feels like a pressure cooker. That's when love's toughest and truest. Jesus didn't love from a cushy throne, he loved in the dust. The heat, the crowds. John 13:34 says we do too, not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Ever notice how the people you love most test you most around noon? My kid's a champ at that. Spills juice right when I'm on a call. Love's not the warm hug then, it's the deep breath. The, it's okay, bud. This isn't fluffy. Loving others midday is gritty faith. Take yesterday, 12:30 p.m. I'm at the deli counter. Line's long, and the guy ahead's arguing over turkey slices like it's a UN summit. I'm starving. My phone's pinging, work again, and I'm tempted to sigh loud enough for him to hear. Ever feel that itch to let him know you're annoyed? But love one another isn't optional, it's the deal. So I chill, crack a smile, say, turkey's worth it, huh? He laughs. Tension drops. Small win, not saintly. Just faithful. That's midday love, small acts. Big heart, right in the chaos. Ever turn a grumble into a grin like that? It's not about you feeling good, it's about them seeing Jesus. Why's it matter? Because midday's when people see your faith, or don't. Morning prayers are private, evening's quiet. But noon? That's public, coworkers, cashiers, kids, they're watching. I've blown it plenty, last month. I'm at Taco Bell, order's wrong, and I snap. Can you just fix it? Clerk shrinks. I feel like trash. Ever regret a midday meltdown? That's when faith shows, or hides. John 13:34 says love's your badge, not when you're perfect, but when you're stretched. Next time I'm at Taco Bell, I pause, love one another, and say, no biggie. Thanks for fixing it. Clerk smiles. I'm not a jerk. Small shift. Big deal. Faith in action. Ever see how love changes the room? This ties to your day. Midday's your stage. You're not cloistered in a pew. you're in the fray. Loving the unlovely. Last Friday, I'm stuck in traffic. Guy cuts me off. I'm ready to honk till my horn begs for mercy. But, as I have loved you, stops me. I wave instead. He's shocked. I'm calm. Ever try that? It's not easy, it's faith. We'll hit a Wednesday story next. Total circus, but for now. Think. Who's your midday challenge? The grumpy neighbor? The loud coworker? That's your shot. Love's not later, it's now. When the day's loudest. Alright, higher calling fam. Let's dive into the messy middle of day 11. Loving others midday. We've talked about what it means to love others when the day's humming. Right there in the chaos when patience is thin and the clock's ticking past noon. Now, I'm gonna bring it home with a story. A Wednesday that hit me like a freight train. Where I had every chance to lose it but found out what John chapter 13 verse 34. Love one another as I have loved you can really do. I'll give you two versions. One where I let the midday madness win and turned into a grump nobody wants around. And one where I leaned into faith and loved instead. Ever had a day where the world's testing your last nerve by lunchtime? Stick with me, this one's raw, real, and right from my own playbook. Picture this. It's Wednesday, 12:45 p.m., and I'm already running on fumes. Morning started rough, spilled coffee on my shirt. Kid forgot his lunchbox, and I'm late for a work call. By midday, I'm in the office, juggling emails, when my boss drops a last-minute project. Need this by 3 p.m., no excuses. Great, phone's buzzing, my wife texts. Can you grab milk on the way home? Kid's school calls, he's got a stomachache. Come pick him up. Then my coworker, Dave, swings by my desk, whining about a printer jam like I'm the IT guy. I'm starving. My sandwich is soggy from a leaky fridge. And the clock's mocking me. 1:15 p.m. Not even halfway through. Ever had that midday pile-on? Where everyone needs you at once. And you're one burnt fuse from blowing up? That's me. Wednesday. Round 1. Version 1. No faith. Just fumes. I'm in survival mode. I'll deal with this myself. Boss's project? I grit my teeth. Hammer the keyboard like it's my enemy. Muttering. This is ridiculous. Dave's printer rant? I cut him off. Figure it out. Man, I'm swamped, and he slinks away. Muttering. Phone rings. School again. I snap. I'm coming. Okay? No grace. Just growl. I storm out. Grab my keys. And hit traffic. Some guy cuts me off. And I lay on the horn like it's my job. Yelling. Learn to drive. Pick up my kid. He's pale. Whining, and I'm like. Can you just sit still? Not my finest hour. Stop for milk. Lines long. Cashier's slow. I sigh loud enough to turn heads. Thinking. Move it. Back home. Wife asks. Rough day? I grunt. You have no idea. And slump on the couch. By 3 p.m. Project's late. Dave's avoiding me. Kid's upset. And I'm a walking thundercloud. Ever been that guy? Where midday turns you into someone you don't even like. That's Wednesday. Faithless, zero love, all regret. Rewind. Version 2. With faith. Same Wednesday. Same chaos, boss's deadline. Dave's whining. School call. Traffic jam. But this time, I don't bulldoze through. It's 1:15 p.m. I'm staring at my soggy sandwich. Feeling the heat. When John chapter 13 verse 34 hits me. Love one another. I'm like, now? Really? But I pause, right there. Desk a mess. Phone buzzing. Take a shaky breath. And mutter, God, I'm losing it, help me love. Not a sermon, just a lifeline. No angel choir, but a nudge, like, you've got this. Ever tried that? Just stopping when you're about to snap? It's weird, but it shifts something. So, I roll with it. Boss's project, I breathe. Type steady. Think, love means doing my best. Dave swings by. I don't bite his head off, I say. Rough day. Huh? Let's check the printer. We fix it. He's grateful, not my job. But it's love. School calls, I soften. On my way. How's he feeling? Traffic's a beast. Guy cuts me off. I skip the horn, mutter, God, bless him, and chuckle. I'm not road rage guy today. Pick up my kid. He's pale, I scoop him up. We'll get you home, bud, and he leans in quiet. Milk stop, line slow. I smile at the cashier. Busy day, huh? She nods, speeds up a bit. Home, wife asks. Rough day? I grin. Yeah, but we're good. Project's on time. Dave's cool. Kids resting, I'm steady. Not stormy. Ever feel that? Where love sneaks in and you're not a wreck. What's the difference? Version 1. I'm king of my chaos, grumpy. Selfish. Shoving everyone out. Boss is mad. Dave's hurt. Kids distant. I'm a midday monster. Version 2. I let go. Love one another isn't fixing the printer or traffic, it's fixing me. That 10-second prayer, help me love, didn't zap the mess. But it held me. Ever notice how snapping makes it worse? I've honked, huffed, and sulked through plenty, ends in regret every time. But leaning in? That's where faith kicks, small acts. Not saintly vibes. Dave's smile. Kids trust. Love's not loud, it's real. Ever turn a growl into a grin and see it ripple? That's Wednesday. Faith edition. Proof this works. This isn't polished. I'm still late. Still hungry. Still juggling. But I'm not alone. As I have loved you isn't a midday miracle. It's a choice when you're stretched. Traffic didn't clear, but my head did. Kid didn't bounce back, but we bonded. Ever scraped by and feel lighter? That's love doing the heavy lifting, not my strength. His nudge. I drove home. Kid napping in the back. Thinking, how'd I not lose it? Not my grit, his grace. Midday's messy. Yours might be Thursday. Might be every day. Point is, love's not later, it's now. Ever chased a printer fix and won a friend? That's faith in action, small, sweaty, triumphant. Why's this hit? Because midday's your proving ground, everyone's watching. I've blown it, snapped at my wife over a call, glared at a slow clerk, felt like trash after. But Wednesday? Love won, not perfect. Just present. Next, we'll dig deeper into what Jesus meant with love one another. But for now, think. Who tested you midday last? That coworker? That driver? That's your shot. Love's not a feeling, it's faith with dirty hands. Right when the day's loudest. Alright, higher calling fam. We're diving deeper into day 11, loving others midday. We've unpacked what midday love looks like, gritty, real, right in the chaos, and that Wednesday where I went from grump to grace. All thanks to leaning into faith. Now, let's crack open the Bible and see what it's really saying about loving others when the day's roaring loudest. This isn't just a feel-good verse to hang on your fridge, it's raw. Life-changing truth that hits you where you live, right in the middle of your Zoom calls, grocery lines, and kid tantrums. We're anchoring on John chapter 13 verse 34. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another, and tossing in 1 John chapter 4 verse 7, dear friends, let us love one another. For love comes from God. These aren't fluffy words, they're a playbook for your midday mess. Ever wonder how Jesus loved in the heat of it? Stick with me. We're digging into what the good book says about loving others when you're stretched thin. Let's start with John chapter 13 verse 34. Jesus drops this bomb at the Last Supper. Hours from the cross, he's not sipping wine in a cozy room, he's facing betrayal, arrest, and a brutal death. Talk about a rough day. Yet here he is, washing feet, breaking bread, and saying, love one another. Ever think about that timing? Midday for us is chaos, traffic jams, deadlines, but for Jesus, this is his midday, the furnace of his mission. And he's still loving. A new command. It's fresh because it's not just, love your neighbor, from the Old Testament. It's, love like I do. How did he love? He got down in the dirt, literally, scrubbing calluses off fishermen's feet. Ever tried loving when you're up against it? Last week, I'm at the gas station. Pumps slow, and the guy next to me's griping. I'm tempted to snap. But Jesus says, love him. That's not natural, it's supernatural. Straight from him. As I have loved you, that's the kicker. Jesus didn't love from a throne, he loved in the trenches. Think about it. He fed 5,000 when he was exhausted. Healed when he was pressed. Forgave when he was dying. Ever feel pressed midday? I've been in Target at noon. Cart full, kid whining, and the line's a mile along. I want to growl, not grin. But, as I have loved you, isn't a suggestion, it's a mirror. Jesus loved sacrificially, gave up comfort, time, even his life. Ever sacrifice your midday peace for someone? I've dodged it. Last month, coworker vented during lunch, and I'm like, not now, but Jesus says, yes, now. That's love, not when it's easy, but when it costs. Ever pause when you'd rather push? That's faith kicking in. Now, Let's tag team this with 1 John chapter 4 verse 7. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. John's writing years later, echoing Jesus, but he adds a twist. Love's source is God. Ever wonder why loving midday's so hard? Because we're tapped out, patience gone, energy low. I've had middays where I'm at the deli counter, starving, and the guy ahead's debating ham like it's a PhD thesis. I'm not feeling love, I'm feeling hangry. But love comes from God. It's not my tank, it's His. John's saying you can't muster this up, it flows from Him. Ever notice how you're nicer after coffee and quiet? Midday strips that. God fills it. Last Tuesday, I'm stuck in traffic. Guy honks at me. I want to honk back. But love comes from God, stops me. I wave instead, small, but sourced from Him. Ever try that? It's not you, it's grace. These verses vibe together. John chapter 13 verse 34 's the command. 1 John chapter 4 7's the power. Jesus loved in His darkest hour. John says God fuels ours. Ever think midday's your dark hour? Last Wednesday, work piled up. Kids' school called. I'm a pressure cooker ready to pop. But love one another isn't about me feeling it, it's about me doing it. With God's juice. Jesus didn't wait for calm. He loved Judas mid-betrayal. Ever love when you're betrayed? I've had a coworker stab me in the back over a project. Midday rant incoming. But, as I have loved you, says forgive. Tough? Yeah, but that's faith. Not fluff. Ever hold back a rant and feel lighter? That's Him working. Why midday? Because that's when faith shows or hides. Morning's private, prayers in peace. Night's quiet, reflection time. But midday? That's public, everyone's watching. Last Thursday, I'm at the post office. Lines slow, clerks frazzled, I could huff. But love comes from God, says smile. I do, busy day. Huh? She nods, relaxes. Small act, big shift, people see Jesus. Not my grump. Ever blow it midday? I've snapped at a cashier. Can you hurry? Felt like trash after. But love's your badge. John chapter 13 says do it. 1 John says God's got your back. Ever see how one kind word flips the vibe? That's faith in the furnace. Midday's your stage. This isn't theory, it's gritty. Jesus loved the unlovely, tax cheats, sinners, doubters. Ever deal with unlovely midday? Last Friday, I'm at work, boss snaps. Coworker whines. I'm ready to snap back. But love one another isn't optional, I breathe. God, help, and nod. Rough day. Huh? Not saintly, sweaty. Real love. Ever try that when you're done? It's not about you shining, it's about Him through you. I've limped through middays, burnt lunch, kid chaos, and regretted every growl. But leaning in? That's where it shifts, God's love. Not mine. Ever scrape by and wonder why you didn't crack? That's grace fueling you. Why's this matter? Because midday's your proving ground. Faith isn't just me time, it's we time. I've dodged love, hid behind my sandwich. Earbuds in, but John chapter 13 verse 34 says step up. Last Monday, I'm at the park, kids playing. Another mom's stressed, yelling, I could ignore. But love comes from God, says chat. I do, kids. Huh? She smiles, softens. Ever see love ripple? That's faith, not perfect. Just present. Next, we'll unpack how to live this daily. But for now, who's your midday test? That loud neighbor? Grumpy clerk? That's your shot. Love's not later, it's now. When the day's loudest. Alright, higher calling fam. We're rounding out the core of day 11, loving others midday. We've hit what midday love means. That Wednesday where I flipped from grump to grace. And how the Bible backs it with John chapter 13 verse 34. Love one another as I have loved you. Now, let's get hands-on, because this isn't just a cool sermon to nod at, it's a way to live. Right in the thick of your midday chaos when the clock's ticking and tempers are flaring. I'm giving you 3 simple steps to love others when you're stretched thin, plus a 7-day challenge to make it stick. Ever wish you had a game plan for those moments when the coworker's whining or the kids spilling juice all over your lunch break? That's what this is, real. No BS ways to let faith shine when your fuse is short. Let's roll up our sleeves and dive in. Step 1. Stop. Hit pause when the heat's on. Sounds basic, right? But it's gold. Midday's a pressure cooker, work's piling up. The phone's buzzing, and everyone's on your case. Your gut says snap. Bark at the clerk. Honk at the driver, but that's where love dies. Ever catch yourself about to lose it midday? Last Monday, I'm at the deli counter. 12:30 p.m., starving. And the guy ahead's debating turkey slices like it's a UN summit. My stomach's growling. My kid's tugging my sleeve. I'm this close to sighing loud enough to turn heads. Step 1's about stopping that train wreck. Pause. Take 5 seconds. Breathe deep, like you're sucking air through a straw, and say, God, I'm done. Not a big prayer, just a reset. I did it, stood there. Turkey guy still rambling, and muttered, God, help. No choir, but a nudge, like, you've got room. Ever try that? Just hitting pause when you're about to pop? It's the first crack for love to sneak in. Step 2. Pray, ask for love, not fixes. Once you've stopped, don't stew, pray. John chapter 13 verse 34 isn't a DIY project, it's Jesus saying, love like me, and you need help for that. This isn't a long plea, just a quick, God, give me love. Last Thursday, I'm stuck in traffic, 1:15 p.m. Late for a meeting, guy cuts me off. I'm gripping the wheel, ready to honk, till my horn cries uncle. I pause, then pray, God, I'm ticked, help me love. Takes 5 seconds, ragged. Real, no poetry. Traffic doesn't part, but I feel it, a shift. Like, let it go. Ever pray that in the heat? Not for the guy to vanish, but for love to kick in? I waved instead, he's stunned. I'm calm. That's not me. That's grace answering fast. Ever notice how asking flips your vibe? It's not about fixing midday, it's about fueling you through. Step 3. Do it. Love small. Right now. Here's the clincher. You paused. Prayed. Now act. As I have loved you, isn't waiting for calm, it's loving in the storm. Small but real. After that traffic prayer, I didn't just wave, I smiled at the next light. Small? Sure, but love's not loud. Last Friday, I'm at work, 2 p.m. Coworker Dave's venting about a printer jam again. I'm swamped. Sandwich soggy. I pause. Pray. Then do. Let's fix it. Man, we troubleshoot. He chills, not my job. But it's love. Ever do that? A nod. A rough day. Huh? Small acts. Big faith. It's not saintly, it's sweaty. Midday grit. I've skipped it, ignored Dave. Ate alone. But love one another, says step up. Ever see a small move shift the air? That's Jesus through you, quiet. Real strength. Why midday? Because that's when love's toughest and truest. Morning's fresh, you're patient. Night's calm, you're reflective. But midday? That's the furnace, tempers flare. Time's tight. Last Tuesday, I'm at the park. 1 p.m., kids playing. Another mom's yelling at hers. I'm tired. Sandwich half gone. I could earbud out. But faith says love. I pause. God, I'm beat. Pray. Help me love. Do, kids. Huh? She smiles. Softens. Takes 15 seconds. Midday chaos. Love wins. Ever feel that crunch? That's your shot. Love's not later, it's now. When the day's loudest. I've dodged it. Sulked through lunch, but pausing changes it. Ever try loving when you'd rather hide? That's faith with dirty hands. The 7-day challenge. Here's your playbook. Try this every midday for a week. Starting tomorrow. Step 1. Chaos hits. Pause. 5 seconds. I'm done. Step 2. Pray. 5 seconds. God, give me love. Step 3. Do. 5 seconds. A smile. A word. A hand. 15 seconds total. Mid-meeting. Mid-line. Mid-meltdown. Last month, I did it. Day 1. I'm skeptical. Muttering at Taco Bell. Day 3. I grin at a slow clerk. No snap. Day 5. I help Dave, not a saint. Just steady. Ever wonder what 7 days could do? I was a midday grump, still am, but by day 7. Love stuck. You in? Try it. See if your noons don't shift. How it works. Stop kills the snap. Pray taps the source. Do lets it flow. Last Wednesday, I'm at the store, line slow. Kids whining, I stop. God, I'm toast, pray. Love, please, do. Busy day. Huh? To the cashier? She nods. I'm calm, not my win. His. Ever notice fighting midday tanks you? I've huffed through lines, ends in regret. This? 15 seconds. And love's not wrestling, it's winning. It's not about fixing chaos, it's about you in it. Ever turn a growl into a grin and feel it? That's grace, not grit. Why it's real? Jesus didn't wait, washed feet mid-betrayal. John says love's from God, not your tank. Me? I don't dodge midday, I lean. Last Friday. I'm late, boss snaps. Kids messy, I stop. Pray. Do. Rough day. Huh? To boss? Hug for kid. No fix. Just love, steady. Not stormy. Ever scrape by and wonder how? That's faith. Love one another, in the muck. Try it tomorrow. 15 seconds when the heat hits. Drop a comment after day 1. I'm cheering you. Next, we'll wrap this. But for now, who's your midday shot? That clerk? That kid? Love's now. Fam, let's live it. Hey everyone, Higher Calling fam. We've reached the end of day 11, loving others midday. Man, what a journey, right? We've walked through a full 100 minutes together. And I'm so grateful you've stuck with me. From those hectic midday moments to God's big call on our hearts. Let's wrap this up tight. Because this isn't just a talk to breeze through. It's a way to live when the clock hits noon and life's throwing curveballs. We kicked things off with the truth that loving others midday isn't some Sunday school extra. It's faith in the thick of it. Right when the day's loudest. John chapter 13 verse 34 set the tone. A new command I give you. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. That's not a suggestion. It's Jesus showing us how to roll when the pressure's on. Ever feel like middays when love's hardest? That's where this hits home. Then I laid it all out with that Wednesday, 1 p.m. Work piling up. Kids' school calling, traffic snarling, and me with a soggy sandwich ready to snap. Version 1. I went full grump, barked at my coworker Dave. Honked at strangers, grumbled through the grocery line. By 3 p.m. I'm a thundercloud nobody wants near. Version 2. I paused, leaned into love one another, and flipped it, helped Dave with the printer. Waved at the jerk in traffic. Smiled at my kid through his whining. Chaos didn't vanish, but love held me steady. Ever had a midday where you could have lost it, but something shifted? That's faith, not my strength. His nudge. We dug into the Bible next. John chapter 13 verse 34's command from Jesus in his darkest hour. Paired with 1 John chapter 4:7's promise that love flows from God. Jesus washed feet mid-betrayal. John says we've got the juice to love mid-mess. That's not fluffy, it's gritty. Real faith. And we landed with the how-to. 3 steps to make it stick. Stop. Pray. Do. Step 1. Hit pause. God, I'm done. Step 2. Ask for love, help me love. Step 3. Do it. A smile. A word. A hand. 15 seconds total. I've lived it. Monday deli line. Thursday traffic, and it's not magic, it's a lifeline. Then the 7-day challenge, every midday. 15 seconds, pause when the heat's on. Pray for love, act small but real. I tried it, day 1. I'm muttering at Taco Bell, day 5. I'm grinning at Dave's printer woes instead of growling. Ever wonder what a week of that could shift? That's your shot. Love's not about perfect days, it's about loving through the imperfect ones. Right when the clock strikes noon. Here's the heart of it. Midday love's not about you feeling it, it's about faith doing it. That Wednesday didn't turn me into a saint, it showed me I don't have to be a grump. Printer still jammed, traffic still crawled, but I wasn't alone, as I have loved you, carried me. Ever feel that nudge, like, you've got this, even when you're stretched? That's love from God, not your tank. I've snapped at clerks, dodged coworkers, and regretted it every time, but leaning in? That's the win. Dave's grin. My kids trust. It's small, sweaty, faithful stuff. What about you? Where's your midday crunch begging for love? The loud neighbor? The slow cashier? That's where Jesus meets you, not when it's calm, but when it's chaos. Now, fam, I'm handing you the mic. I want your voice in this. Drop a comment below. What's your midday story? That time you could have snapped but loved instead, or maybe when you didn't. And wish you had. Tell me. I'm reading every single one. Or just say, I'm in. If you're jumping on this 7-day challenge, 15 seconds a day. Stop. Pray. Do. Right when the day's loudest. Hit that like button if this sparked something, because it's not just me talking. It's us walking this faith journey together. And if day 11 lit you up, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell. Day 12's coming. Trusting God with small things. And we're unpacking how faith holds up in the little stuff that trips us up. It's real, it's practical, and it's next. Before I sign off, hear this. You're not solo in your midday mess. I've been the guy with a burnt sandwich, a whiny kid, and a coworker testing my last nerve. I'm still here. And so are you. That's not luck. That's love. Jesus loved in his chaos. John says God fuels ours. And we can too. Take this with you. Next time the phone buzzes or the line stalls, you've got a lifeline. Love one another. Try that 7-day run. Fam, I'm cheering you on. Good night, or good midday, whenever you're catching this, and God bless you big. See you for day 12. Keep the faith. Keep it real. And let's roll this journey together.